Hello and good morning, friends of Sudoku. Today is June 29, 2023, and we are once again facing the hard version of the New York Times Sudoku puzzle. I see a couple of things come to mind. For example, the 4 and the 5 here and the 4 and the 5 here. Put the 4 and the 5 in these two squares. The 6 blocks up, this blocks over. Therefore, one of these is a 6. We can do more with the sixes. This 6 blocks up here, this 6 blocks across. So one of these must be a 6 blocking across, this 6 blocks across, this 6 blocks up, so here's a 6. We got 7s blocking down here on both sides, so here's a 7. For these squares here, we seem to need a 1, 2, 3, and a 7. There's a 1, 3, and a 2 blocking this square. Therefore, this must be a 7. And since we have a 1 and a 3 here, this can only be a 2. Therefore, these must be 1 and 3. That was quick. See, there's a 4, of course, for this square, because we got these two 4s blocking these 6 squares here. So here's a 4. Now we have a 8 blocking across here and 8 blocking up. One of these is an 8. This virtual 8 blocks across. This 8 blocks across, so here's an 8. So 4 and 5 here, these must be 8 and 6. The 8 blocks across here, so here's a 6 and here is the 8. This 8 blocks down, therefore one of these must be an 8 blocking up. So we got an 8 blocking up here and an 8 blocking down here. And these two 8s here block these squares here. So here is another 8. We have a 6 blocking down and up and across. Here's a 6. It is worth mentioning that this square can only be a 2, and here is why. This is 2 blocks here, so this of course can't be a 2. We got a 2 blocking down here and up here. Therefore, one of these squares must be a 2 blocking up. So in order to have a 2 at all in row 2, it's got to go here. Now we got a 5 in one of these squares. And therefore, we need a 5 for one of these two squares up here. So we've got 5s and 6s here in these two squares. Let me recap, because we have a 5 and a 6 blocking across here. We have a 5 and a 6 blocking up here, so these have to be a 5 and a 6. And one of these must be a 7, because there's 7 blocks across, so we got a 7 in one of these 3 squares up here. So one of these is a 7. Which one is it going to be? Too early to tell, at least for me. It is 4:30 in the morning, so it is early. But it's not too early to find an 8 for this square, because we got an 8 blocking up and across here. So here's an 8. The more I look at it, I'm looking at these squares here. They have to be a 1, 2, 3, 7. We have a 2 and a 7 blocking up here. So this is a 1, 3, we know that. this one blocks up here. So I'm thinking, and the 3 blocks up here, of course, that these squares here have to be a 1, 2, 7. Isn't that true? So these squares also have to be a 1, 2, or a 7. And we have a 2 and a 7 blocking up here, so this cannot be a 2 or a 7. And now I'm seeing it. See, here is the thing. Here is the thing. We got a 3 blocking up here, and we have a 3 blocking up here. And these are 5 and 6. So a 3 must go here or here, blocking all the way across here. This 3 blocks up here, so here's a 3. And here's a 1. Now we have a 1, 2, 7 here, and that means that a 1 must go in one of these 2 squares, of course. So this is just a 2, 7. And these are 1 and 5. And I think that revelation has some potential, because a 1 now must go here or here, and a 7 must go here or here. The last digit in column 8 that we need is a 5. And we have a 5 blocking from over here, blocking across here. So this cannot be a 5. It also cannot be a 1, because a 1 must go here or here. Therefore, this has got to be a 7. Now we have 7s here or here. And these are 1s and 5. 1 blocks over, therefore 5 goes here and a 1 here. Yes, that looks about right, doesn't it? So 1, 5, therefore 9, 3. So we have a 9 in one of these squares here. And a 3, of course. So 5, 6, 9, 3. Missing is a 1 and a 2. So these 2 squares must be 1s and 2s. But in the other corner here, we have an interesting fact, and the fact is that this square must be a 5. And why is that? Well, we got a 1 blocking over, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 6, 7, 8, and a 9. So here's a 5. And that now gives us a 1 here and a 5 here. And of course now a 1 here or here, but that's not possible to resolve yet. However, we now have 1s blocking across here and here, so we know that one of these is a 1. But we also need a 2, 4, and a 9. So 1, 2, this is 4, 9, 1, 9, this is 2, 4, 9 up here. 1, 2, we know that. 4 here. 1, 2, 9. That's not something I think I should pursue right now. I think I should find something easier. 2, 3, 8, and a 9 here, 3, 9 here. This can only be a 3, of course, because we got 3's covered in these 3 squares. So here's a 3. Now 2, 9, and an 8. Also not quite possible yet. 2, 7, 9 here though, and the 9 blocks across. This 9 blocks down. Here's a 9. Now we got a 9 here or here, because these 2 9s force a 9 here or here. But back to these 2 squares, as I said, there must be a 7 and a 2. We also have 7 up here. 4, 5. 2, 7, 2, 7. I'll have to work a little harder on that. 3, 4, 7, and a 9 here. I think we got something. We got a 3, 9 here, so quite obviously these two squares must be a 4 and a 7. Therefore, this cannot be a 7, and the honor of being a 7 goes, I think, to this square, 4, 7, 3, 9. We know that this is a 3, 9, this is a 3, 9. But what's more, if this is a 4, 7 blocking up, we know that one of these must be a 4. We also know that one of these must be a 4, and we know that one of these must be a 4. And it's got to be this square here, because these 4 candidates here prevent a 4 from going in this square, and we need a 4 for the row. So here's a 4. And now we need a 9 and a 3 for these squares. Can we do anything with that? 3 blocks across and up. One of these is a 3. And we know that a 3 had to go in one of these 3 squares, because we got 3s up here, right? So now this cannot be a 3, this cannot be a 3, and the 3 must go here. 1, 2, and a 9 here now. Still not quite possible, but we'll get there. I'm quite sure now. 4, 7, therefore these must be a 2, 8, and a 1. 1, 2, 8 up here. 3, 9 here. What's missing? A 4, yes, of course. I think I should get back to these 3 squares, because I think I overlooked something before. They have to be a 1, 2, and a 9. We have a 9 and a 1 in the row, so here's quite obviously a 2, making this a 1, and this a 2. And that makes this a 7 and this a 2. And this therefore must be a 7 and this must be a 1. These now must be a 9 and a 2. The 2 blocks up here, so here's a 9, here's a 2. We still have our old friends, the 5 and 6s up here. But things are looking quite good right now. It must be possible to do something in the bottom chute. Here we need a 1, 8, 4, and a 7. We got a 7, 8, and a 4 blocking this square, which therefore becomes a 1. And that gives me a 1 here. We also now have a 1 here. 4, 7, 8 here. 7, 8. 7, 8. 7 blocks down. 4, 7 here. Yes, of course, we knew that. So 8 goes here or here. Which one is it going to be? Time will tell. 2, 4, 6 here. 4, 7 here. 2 here. 2 goes here. And therefore here. Here we're looking for a 4 and a 6. We know that this is a 4 or a 7. Therefore the 6 must go here. The 7 blocks across. So here's a 4 and here's a 7. Only one square missing, namely an 8. And that gives me over here a 4. Down here now are 9 and an 8. The 8 blocks down, of course. So here's a 9. Here's the 8. This must now be a 9. And as we recall from earlier, that makes this a 3. We now have a 3 here, and a 9 here, and a 3 here. 5, 6 now. We can resolve those because the 6 blocks up. Here's a 5. Here's a 6. And here's a 5. Making this a 4 and this a 5, because those were, I think, the first 2 digits that we knew had to go in these 2 squares. This must be a 9 and this is a 4. And that's it for today's New York Times Heart Puzzle. Thank you for watching and bye for now.